Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. It is December 16th, 2024, and the time is 7 o'clock. I need a roll call, please.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Here.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Here.
Member Bennett?
Here.
Councilmember Hackey?
Here.
Councilmember Gibson?
Here.
Councilmember Stricula?
Here.
Mayor Nelson?
Here. All right, it is time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, it is time we need to approve the minutes from November 11th and the November 13th council meeting.
Make a motion to approve both.
We can do it together. Yeah, so first from Mark, second from Josh, okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, time for the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just a couple of items here. First, want to take a moment. I know council is probably worn out maybe talking about tennis, securing the tennis tournament. We made a big announcement about a year ago, and then the work began. But I do think it is worth pausing. Last week, well, December 2nd, after 11 agreements were signed, and Jeff got them to the county and got them recorded, it does mean that we have succeeded in that first step of securing tennis's future in the city of Mason when the city finalized our purchase of the tennis facility, as well as secured BMOC's management of those facilities. That was an enormous lift. It's taken many months, a lot of means, a lot of work, a lot of dollars between us and our partners to make sure that tennis will continue in the city of Mason for the next quarter of century anyhow, if not beyond. But what I wanted to do, as well as drawing council and the public's attention to that, is that there's a long history of relationships that preceded BMOC's decision here. And a lot of folks I think we owe some gratitude to as a city for helping position the city to take a leadership role in this. That includes Tennis for Charity. We had a long partnership with Tennis for Charity, who ran the tournament, initiated the tournament. Warren County, the state of Ohio, Wood and Lamping, I think spent a couple of hours on this project as well. The Mason Port, there's also the larger Cincinnati business community. There were several folks, leaders from throughout the region that have assisted with this, but also there were many local businesses, local residents that have been supportive, have helped the city take a lead in preserving this. So I wanted to just take that moment to pause to recognize that, yes, the city does now own the tennis facility. We do have a very strong management agreement with BMOC, so they will be in charge of managing that facility for the next 25 years. And want to also just express some gratitude, not only for council for all the work that you have put in over the years, but also pay some recognition to all those partners that have helped us, both a long history, relationships with them that have paid off here to bring us to this point. And also underscore that the work is not done. There's still a lot to operationalize that, but I tried to think of some comparisons. We're now married. We just haven't figured out all the details of how to move in together. That'll be the next year, I think, but it was a momentous occasion. It was a tight deadline, and I think council should be very proud of how that all finally came about after a lot of work. So wanted to draw attention to that. Next, Jewish Discovery Center annually hosts a Hanukkah celebration, and it is very important to them that the city of Mason and council in particular are invited to participate on that. This year, the event will be held on Sunday, December 29th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. It's held at the Deerfield Town Center. It is free. It's open to the public. Council is especially encouraged to attend to be a part of that celebration. Also, as we approach other holidays, city offices will be closed on Tuesday, December 24th, as well as Wednesday, December 25th, and Wednesday, January 1st, in observance of the upcoming holidays. Community Center will be open, but we'll have some modified hours. Would encourage folks to visit the city's website if you intend to visit on any of those days. Similarly, with the Aquatic Center, it will have some modified hours throughout the holidays. Also, Rumpke, and this changes every year, so carefully listen. From Wednesday, December 25th and Wednesday, January 1st, if your pickup is after that Wednesday, it will be delayed one day. So they will not be picking up on the 25th, nor will they pick up on the 1st, but the pickups will then be delayed one day. Pickups are done on Saturday. We get a lot of questions on that, and that's the routine this year. Also, beginning in January, the city will begin picking up Christmas trees to make sure they are recycled. If folks prefer not to wait on that, they place them in a bag at their curb. Those will be removed by Rumpke to be placed in the landfill. But beginning January 2nd, city crews will start recycling those. That's all I had, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to say real quick.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I goofed up. I do have a liquor permit that needs action. This is a new permit for Tuxing LLC. It is a D5, which is spirituous liquor for on-premises consumption only, beer and wine for on-premises and off-premises in original sealed containers until 2:30 a.m. Council can request a hearing or not request a hearing and do that via motion.
Okay, I need a motion to request or not request a hearing.
I'll make a motion not to request a hearing.
Second it.
Okay. We don't have to vote. You can do all in favor. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, I just wanted to say, if you are here for the amended zoning for the Heritage Presbyterian property, we are not going to be really discussing it today. We're going to have the title read and then schedule the public hearing for February 10th. So that's the date that you are going to want to put on your calendar to be here if you'd like to speak, is February 10th. Today is just setting the public hearing. I thought I'd let you know that so you didn't have to sit through this whole council meeting, which of course you're more than welcome to do. And then I wanted to say one more thing too. We're supposed to have some students here with us today. So if you would like to stay after council to ask us the questions for your project, that would be great. Looking forward to it. Okay, now it's time for recognition of visitors. We have a 5-minute limit. And when you get to the podium, please state your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to come to the podium to speak? No? Okay. We do. Okay, sorry.
My name is Kaida Fuster. I live in 213 Lakeview Drive, Mason, Ohio. I just wanted to address you briefly tonight. I will read. Good evening, Mayor Nelson, Vice Mayor Chance, Council Members Bennett, Gibson, Hackey, Spaeth, and Stricula, Mr. Eric Hansen, Mrs. Jennifer Held, and Mrs. Jenna Pandlin. In October last year, a group of residents, including myself, stood in front of you with a simple but impactful request to recognize the cultural, linguistic, and religious pluralism of Mason by embracing inclusive messaging during the holidays and during city events. Today, I stand here again in sincere appreciation. This year, it has brought me great joy to drive under the city banner on Main Street that reads, "Warmest wishes for the holiday season." The slight change of wording acknowledges all the holidays that our residents celebrate during the end of fall and the beginning of winter. It is inclusive, festive, and it has made longtime residents of the city finally feel right at home. I have personally heard from residents and friends about how happy they feel having their faiths and cultures recognized and celebrating during this time of year. I greatly appreciate the thought that City Council has put into this improvement and the energy that city employees have put into executing such changes. Thank you, council members, City Manager, Mr. Eric Hansen, and all the city employees involved for meeting with and listening to residents. As we head into a new year, we, the residents, welcome wholeheartedly this renewed commitment of the city to inclusivity, and we look forward to many more opportunities to display how rich we are in diversity and civility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, now it's the moment that all these children have been waiting for. Would you like to come up to read the resolution?
Yeah, if you want to, that'd probably be easier. Do you guys want? Yeah. You got the wrong hat. Here. Yeah, they know what they're doing. You guys can sit together.
This is the resolution encouraging Santa to visit all children in Mason and to spread Christmas joy, magic, and cheer. All right, so have you guys determined who's going to read what?
We did.
Awesome.
We did. Me and Councilmember Strickler really worked hard on this, so.
Okay, well, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
What?
Say second.
Second? What?
All right, you can begin reading.
Whereas it is the intention of Santa to spread Christmas joy to all and to remind everyone of goodwill and selfless giving in the city of Mason and across the world, and whereas Mason residents are encouraged to participate in the various events and activities happening in Mason with family and friends as part of the 2024 Christmas in Mason season in order to share and spread holiday spirit throughout the community, and
Whereas Mason City Council encouraged Santa and his 9 reindeer, led by Rudolph and his red-nosed, then Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen, to return to Mason on Christmas Eve. And
whereas it is by the power of those who believe that Santa may visit and bless the city of Mason with Christmas joy and cheer, and
whereas Mason City Council wishes Santa and his reindeer a safe flight.
by the Council of the City of Mason, Ohio, that 7 members elected thereto concurring that Santa should visit the households of all the good boys and girls within the city of Mason corporate limits and beyond.
Section 2, that every Mason child has tried their very hardest to be good this year.
Section 3, that Mason community continues to share in power of believing.
Section 4, that as we celebrate the season, we keep in mind those within our community that may be struggling without family or are in need, and provide a helping hand of kindness. The City of Mason commits up to $5,000 to the community holiday help program, reaffirming the city's dedication to supporting families in need and spreading compassion this holiday season.
Section 5, that this resolution shall be enforced and become effective from and after the earliest period allowed by law, past this 16th of December, 2024.
All right, that's wonderful. But wait, we need to adopt it. Sure. So I need a first to adopt, motion to adopt.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do you guys have anything you want to say about this resolution? Nope. Okay, I need roll call.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett? Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Okay, it passes.
All right, Santa's coming.
Santa's coming to Mason.
I did notice only 2 kids had their hats on right. We're gonna take a picture. Oh, you can flip it to another. Yeah, no. That's cool. I like the honesty.
Okay, Resolution 2024-30. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
A resolution of the City of Mason of Warren County of Ohio supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial America 250 Ohio. And why did I have to read that and the kids got to read about Santa?
Thank you, Mayor. On July 4th, 2026, our nation will commemorate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Several years ago, in anticipation of this significant anniversary, Congress established the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission to begin preparing and orchestrating this celebration. The commission teamed up with nonprofit organization America 250 to promote the initiative with the goal of designing the largest and most inclusive anniversary observance in our nation's history. State and local governments will play a significant role leading up to the semi-quincentennial in 2026. The state of Ohio has established their own commission and has set a goal to have at least 250 communities throughout the state become designated as official America 250 Ohio communities, promising to create engaging opportunities for the public to commemorate the anniversary. By becoming an America 250 Ohio community, the city will have access to local resources, collaborative partnerships, and possible grant opportunities leading up to and throughout the celebration. This resolution confirms Mason's commitment to the efforts of both the federal and state commission as the nation comes together to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States, and will designate the city as an official America 250 Ohio community. Resolution 2024-30 is recommended for adoption. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? I'm super excited that we did this. Good, this is going to be fun. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-101. This is the first reading. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Amending the zoning code and zoning map of the City of Mason, Ohio to provide for the rezoning of approximately 16 acres from R3 single-family residential to residential PUD, residential planned unit development, with approval of the concept planned unit development plan located at the southeast corner of Mason Montgomery Road and Tylersville Road, Heritage Presbyterian Church.
Okay, Eric?
Yeah, just to draw council's attention, a little different than what was presented in your packet, and at the request of the developer on this one, and with their consent, moving the public hearing from the January 13th meeting, or setting it instead of the January 13th meeting, setting it the February 10th meeting. Developer indicated he'd like more time, and over the holidays it is complicated to have more interaction with the residents. So we'd like to set the public hearing February 10th.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Ordinance 2024-102. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Approval of the final plat for Everybody's Farm, Phase 2, PUD, Section 2.
Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a subdivision that's located on the south side of Tylersville Road, west of Soundwave Drive, and it's a mixed-use PUD. This plat was reviewed by Planning Commission December 3rd and establishes the lots 3, 4, and 5, which are for the office and commercial uses, and it also establishes lots 6 through 31 for the attached single-family townhomes. This plat, in addition to creating the lots, provides the easements needed for the sanitary, water, storm sewer, in the development of the site. Planning Commission did have 5 contingencies listed there. They're pretty minor, and recommendation for approval is contingent on those contingencies from Planning Commission. So with that, ordinance 2024-102 is recommended, and I'll answer any questions you might have. Thanks.
Thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Any council discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, council member.
now I know why our city borders look so wonky. Because we're doing these little zigzags. Just wanted to say something about that, because people ask me that a lot. Why do the lines look so weird? It's because of this.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-103. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a pre-annexation agreement with Sam and Patty Looning.
Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. If I could, I'd like to do ordinance 103 and 104, discuss both of those at this time. The ordinance 103 has to do with 4895 Coxsmith Road, and 104 is 4770 Coxsmith Road. Both of these are in Union Township, and one is on a well currently, and the other is on a cistern. And both would like the opportunity to tie into our public water supply system, and potentially our sanitary sewer system. So a pre-annexation agreement would allow properties outside the city to be able to tie into our system. The agreement does provide for 1.5 times the current rate for the water and sewer until they do annex in the future. And both ordinance 103 and 104 are recommended for adoption. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved?
Any council discussion?
Mayor, my comments applied to this, not the previous one.
That's what I thought.
I was one.
I didn't want to
I got
correct you, though, but
one thing ahead.
I knew what you were saying, yes. All right, anyone else? Roll call?
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-104. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a pre-annexation agreement with Francesco and Felicibeth Pencheri.
Okay, need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-105. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the reappropriation and transfer of monies and transferring other funds and appropriations for the current expenses of the city of Mason, therefore amending the annual appropriation ordinance 2023-115 of the city of Mason, Ohio, passed by the council of the city of Mason, Ohio on December 11, 2023 for the year 2024.
Jenna?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. The next two ordinances before you are housekeeping items that are adopted on an annual basis at the end of each year, and I'd like to talk about them both together. The annual appropriation ordinance that adopts the city's budget is meant to serve as a guide for city finances and outline city priorities for the following year. It is important that the budget provide enough discretion and flexibility in order to accommodate new and shifting priorities. The budget also establishes the legal level of control that departments have in all line items in their operating budget. Department heads are responsible for reviewing line items and maintaining positive balances within their budgets throughout the year. As priorities shift and budget line items are impacted, department heads can request transfers within their legal level of control. When city priorities have exceeded a department head's ability to transfer funds within their legal level of control, council action in the form of reappropriation, fund transfers, and/or supplemental ordinance is necessary. The city cannot close its books until all funds and accounts are brought back to positive balances. Ordinance 2024-105 authorizes the transfer of money from funds with positive balances to funds with negative balances in order to help provide departments with the flexibility needed to meet the city's priorities. Once these transfers take place, additional funds may need to be appropriated to supplement negative fund balances. Ordinance 2024-106 is another housekeeping item that authorizes final adjustments on any remaining line items in the red. The city has had a successful year in terms of investments and economic development activities that will enhance the city's quality of life and long-term financial strength. Ordinance 2024-105 and 2024-106 reconciles the city's finances to align with this year's priorities, and both are recommended for adoption. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Great job, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-106. I need a motion to read by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the supplemental appropriations of monies, therefore amending the annual appropriation ordinance number 2023-115 of the city of Mason, Ohio, passed by the council of the city of Mason, Ohio on December 11, 2023 for the year 2024.
Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Council discussion? Yes.
I just can't believe Eric let Jenna cover this topic. He really enjoys talking about these appropriations, so I appreciate you doing that. Well, she was a lot more brief, though, which was good.
You act like there was a choice.
Yeah. Great job, though, Jenna. I appreciate you keeping that.
All right, anyone else? Roll call?
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes. Ordinance 2024-107, I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
2025 Annual Appropriation Ordinance.
Eric? You jinxed it, Ashley.
I have sometimes been accused in the past of tending to over-explain the budget. I brought the entire packet here, and I'd like to go through it page by page, because I know at least some of the students are acutely interested in the budget for next year. Or I can just hit the highlights and maybe afterwards have a breakout session. Okay. The 2025 budget, and playing off of Jenna's comments, 2024 was a spectacular year in a lot of ways, and a lot of it unplanned. And that's a way to underscore the budget is essentially a planning document. It does not bind council to do everything in the budget. Neither does it prohibit council from pursuing initiatives or opportunities that come out throughout the year. So at its core, it is a planning document that tries to forecast what those opportunities might be. It's important to leave flexibility in it, as we do, to allow us to take advantage of a lot of the investment opportunities that have really propelled the financial success of the city. With that as kind of the undercore, I do want to touch on just a couple of items, many of them consistent, and for the sake of the audience, the budget remains underpinned by very conservative financials. And what that basically means is we tend to anticipate our revenues or the income coming in very low. And so if you look at our estimates, it may look like we're forecasting a downturn. We're not. We're just making sure we live on a tighter budget than we expect to have. We also tend to look at expenses in kind of a worst-case scenario format, so that we budget more than we hope to spend, and we forecast revenues less than we anticipate to bring in. The net result of that, ideally, is that we exceed our revenue estimates, we don't meet our expense estimates, and we're able to transfer significant amounts of money into the capital fund. And that is really what fuels the type of investments in infrastructure and economic development that has helped us. See, that's page 1 already. Then I just want to hit on some of the things that are in the budget that likely will have additional discussion throughout next year. Significant investment in infrastructure, such as the street program. There's about $4 million total invested in streets resurfacing. Additional transfers to capital funds as well as the public service fund and the public service sustainability fund. Halfway through page 2. Do want to talk a little bit about debt. We have been on an aggressive schedule to pay down debt. It's important to remember, though, as a community, as a city, as a public entity, debt can be very useful. And specifically on infrastructure, things like buildings and roads, the city has very attractive bond rating, so very low interest rates, those type of assets that last a very long time. Debt can be a very useful way to spread the cost of that over multiple audiences and into the future. What debt is not useful for is the type of investments that the city has been able to make this year towards incentives for economic development to bring in jobs, for land to preserve for future economic development. Those require cash. So it's a constant kind of look at, you want to make sure you have cash available for the opportunities that you don't know will come. Sometimes that means using debt very wisely in order to pay for things like buildings and roads. Some of the things that are in the budget, we mentioned roadways, design of Foxfield Drive, opportunities for investment in downtown development and infrastructure, website update and redesign. A significant push is anticipated for the city's website. 2 items that I expect will have considerable discussion and will extend into future years. We'll be turning focused attention on fire station locations, where they're located, how many they are, and how we react to the response time request the community has made of the city. That will require, I expect, significant discussion with the Safety Committee as well as Finance. Also looking at significant investment towards master planning parks. We have a lot of parks that require additional investment, improvement. We also have green space that has not been developed into parks. Spending time when we're trying to conserve our cash balances, but spending that time trying to be very thoughtful in prioritizing and planning where we make those investments in current parks as well as developing future parks is an exercise in projecting over many years how that could unfold. Other things that are familiar, Red Rhythm and Boom for 2025 is included in the budget. Continues to be attention to staffing adjustments and innovation as we continue to try and react and keep ahead of a changing workforce. Arts and culture programming, service agreements with Historic Society, Humane Society, Women Walking West, Family Promise, Warren County, and Safe on Main continue. Rebudgeted this year are some projects that we were not able to get to in 2024. That includes the Mason Morrow Mill Grove Shared Use Path, Roundabout in Bethany Road, and influent pump stations, which I know everyone's interested in. We're into page 3, so we're cruising along here. There is attention in the budget. 2024, we had anticipated to really focus on operations, which had been lagging behind a pretty aggressive investment schedule. That's not how 2024 turned out. We tended to be even more aggressive in projects, incentives that came our way. Anticipating in 2025, trying to get the operating side to catch up. That includes what we've worked on in fire staffing, trying to make sure our staffing levels are ready as we begin to branch out in response times. Creative ways to make sure that we keep staff with experience, that we're attractive to new staff as we are dealing with kind of the demographic growth problems of our workforce. I think a couple of other things worth mentioning. We tend to talk a lot about the general fund. There are a couple of other funds and kind of business plans that have been doing very well and need continued attention. The safety fund will get more attention as we look at expanding fire stations. The community center remains very positive, has returned from COVID to a positive. A balance does not require tax subsidies. Further attention on the aquatic center, we hope to duplicate that. And significantly, the partnership with tennis will enhance the golf course operations, which should prove very beneficial to the long-term financial viability of the golf course. That's just the brief overview. I'm now towards the end, so I feel like I need to add some other language. I don't disappoint Councilmember Chance, but there's a lot of effort, a lot of work that goes into this. I would encourage folks interested. I can provide all the detail and can provide lots of time to go through it. But I am pretty confident that with all the work the Finance Committee has put in, Joe Riegelsberger deserves a shout out, as well as all the department heads, that the 2025 budget is a fiscally prudent approach to municipal finance. I think it reflects a lot of the best of both our workforce and our community. It's committed to cost savings, efficiency, and continued investment in the core of the City of Mason. The Finance Committee is recommending moving forward with Ordinance 2024-107.
Okay, just one thing. It's Vice Mayor Chance.
I'm sorry?
Vice Mayor Chance. Council member.
Oh. He had it coming.
Hey, good job. That was shorter than that.
All right, thank you for the update. That's great. Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved?
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-108. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Establishing the salary administration plan, providing for consideration of increases in compensation on an annual basis, and granting a cost of living increase.
Eric?
This one will be even better than the last one, I promise. I'd like to cover the next 3 ordinances. Together, those constitute the compensation package for the City of Mason. There's a lot of text in there, but a lot of that is kind of duplication, readopting the compensation program. The Employee Relations Committee meets annually early on as part of the budget process to review these. Key things to understand that changes in these, these apply to non-union payroll. Most of the city workforce, just over half of it, is actually unionized and have specific contracts. So this is for the non-union. What occurs here is one part is a COLA. That's a cost of living adjustment. The committee looks at comparables, and that COLA is applied to a couple of things. It's applied to non-union employees in good standing, their current pay rate. It applies to the hiring ranges for new employees. Whatever those hiring ranges are, grow by the COLA. It also applies to fees and charges that the city assesses for different programs to try and recapture that cost of doing business. After considering, the Employee Relations Committee recommended 2.5% inflationary adjustment, or COLA, for the city. That is one piece significant to Ordinance 2024-108. Secondly, and you have to think of this differently, that's a percentage applied to all of those things. There is a merit component to non-union payroll, and that is a total dollar amount. It's arrived at through a percentage, but it ends up as a total dollar amount that is then allocated. So not as a percentage, but as a dollar amount. 3.5% non-union employee payroll is how that dollar amount is calculated, and then is applied based on performance of those employees. Also included in that is a continued emphasis on what we call the executive leadership team, and it provides some flexibility for the city manager to continue to try and incentivize folks to step into that team. That is senior leadership that often comes out of the ranks of union employees, and sometimes there's a differential there that's hard to compensate for. It gives flexibility to do several things, including modifying some titles that maybe have gotten a little archaic compared to other sectors. Make some salary adjustments over 3 years to bring them closer into scale with the level of performance needed, as well as to develop and work with an executive health benefit that would include spouses. We hope to use that as a model with Tri-Health in the community center in partnership with Tri-Health to pay additional attention to the health of some of our senior executives. The Ordinance 2024-108 is then is the compensation program for employees. It's what accomplishes the merit and COLA, and then 109 is what adjusts the hiring ranges by those percentages. And then Ordinance 110 takes that same COLA increase and applies that to the retainer and the compensation paid to Wooden Lamping, including Jeff Forbes, as well as partners at Wooden Lamping that provide assistance on a range of city items. Those are the three compensation ordinances in this part of the package. All of them are recommended for adoption.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 2024-109. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Repealing Ordinance 2023-105 of the City of Mason, Ohio, and establishing hiring compensation ranges for City of Mason employment positions.
Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved?
Second.
Any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-110. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Modifying the contract for legal services with Wood and Lamping LLP to provide for updated compensation.
I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved?
Second.
Any council discussion?
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to thank Jeff.
Yes, Vice Mayor Chance.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to thank Jeff and your team for everything you do. I know there's a lot of stuff you do behind the scenes. You sit up here and keep us all in order on the legal beagle side, but I know there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you do, and we just greatly appreciate you and your team's efforts. So
Thank you very
for
much.
that.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-111. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Amending ordinance 2023-107, establishing the positions and rates of compensation for employees of the Mason Municipal Court.
Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. This is another compensation ordinance, but it's important to understand that while the city provides payroll, facilities, services for court, we do not have responsibility for court. The judge is responsible and makes all decisions related to operations, including compensation of court employees. But it is through the city payroll and through the city funds that is achieved. So they do not, everything we just said about compensation doesn't apply here. They operate with a staffing system or a staffing schedule of payments that allows the city to process those payments because they've been authorized by council. But it's the judge that decides where those set. Simply put, to that staffing schedule, they're proposing several changes, moving some part-time positions to full-time, combining some, and maintaining several vacancies. They are requesting a 6% increase in the maximum salary for each of the positions. That is, consider that a hiring range. That's not necessarily the 6% that each of those employees receives. It means the ceiling on each of those positions goes up 6%. The net result of all those changes, maintain those vacancies, should have little impact on the overall court budget, but it does allow staff to respond if the judge determines that there are some changes he'd like to make to compensation. It means that those have been authorized by council and staff can move forward and react to those. It is recommended for adoption.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-112. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Providing funding to Cincinnati Tennis LLC in a total amount not to exceed $300,000 for furniture and fixtures in the new facilities for golf and tennis operations.
Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. As part of our partnership with BMOC Capital, they have Gensler designing some of the improvements out there as part of the new facility that'll house both the tennis or racket sports pro shop and our golf pro shop. That'll create what we think is going to be a world-class facility out there for both, that'll elevate both golf and tennis. The city's responsible for the costs related to the pro shop and office area, and this ordinance is for the furniture and fixtures that are needed. What we did is asked BMOC to have Gensler design our facilities, our pro shop, so that it'll be consistent with the paddle sports pro shop as well. So their costs, they're getting costs right now and should have them within the next month, but their costs are approximately $260,000. What we're asking for is the ordinance not to exceed $300,000. That allows some flexibility for some of the fixtures that are needed in the pro shop and the office space. So with that, ordinance 2024-112 authorizes a reimbursement to Cincinnati Tennis for the furniture and fixtures for the golf pro shop and offices, and is recommended for adoption.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula.
Yes.
Right, ordinance 2024-113. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a partnership agreement with the Mason Symphony Orchestra for performances in 2025 in an amount not to exceed $105,000.
Jenna?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. In 2022, City Council authorized a partnership agreement with Mason Symphony Orchestra in an effort to expand opportunities for the community to enjoy the arts and provide experiences that complemented the city's existing programs and events. The initial partnership agreement authorized $75,000 to the orchestra to deliver 3 concert performances throughout 2023 to be held at a venue that could support a broad audience from the public. The symphony ultimately delivered 2 Pops concerts and 1 classical concert held at Great Wolf Lodge. And in addition, the orchestra partnered with the city to provide discounted tickets to premier members at the community center, as well as a complimentary performance as part of the Mason Veterans Memorial 20th anniversary celebration. The orchestra also hosted a children's concert, which was offered outside the scope of the city's agreement. Based on the success of the initial partnership year, City Council expressed interest in continuing the city's partnership with Mason Symphony Orchestra in 2024 using the same model executed the previous year. Based on the orchestra's experience in the initial year, the organization learned that in order to deliver a successful and professional performance at a venue that aligned with the city's desire to support a broad audience, the cost to outfit the venue was higher than anticipated, resulting in the request for an additional funds for the 2024 performances. Council authorized $99,000 for 3 concert performances throughout 2024. In addition, this past summer, the city partnered with the orchestra to host an additional concert, an outdoor free concert that featured special guest Livingston Taylor. This free concert was offered outside of the scope of the original partnership agreement. As part of the city's budget process, the Finance Committee met with representatives of Mason Symphony Orchestra to discuss the orchestra's progress on developing a long-term funding strategy. The Finance Committee ultimately recommended continuing the model of funding 3 performances throughout 2025 with the intention of the city transitioning to more of a matching fund model for concerts in 2026. Ordinance 2024-113 authorizes a partnership agreement with Mason Symphony Orchestra in an amount not to exceed $105,000 for 3 concert performances throughout 2025. Action is being taken at tonight's meeting so that funds can be accessed by the orchestra to secure Great Wolf Lodge as a venue for their performance scheduled in February. Ordinance 2024-113 is recommended for adoption. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Any council discussion? I just wanted to say I went to the symphony orchestra last Sunday, and it was phenomenal. I loved the dancers and all the music. It's become my new holiday tradition. And I saw Councilmember Bennett and Councilmember Spaeth there as well. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we're doing this for the community. Anyone else? All right, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
Yes. All right, ordinance 2024-114. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to execute an addendum to a lease agreement with Myriad Genetics doing business as Assurex Health, Inc.
Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. What this ordinance gives the city is an opportunity to continue to expand our relationship with Myriad Health. I think council's all aware this is one of our favorite stories. We took a small biohealth company that had a high growth opportunity, brought them to the community center where they occupied some and built out some space there that is now occupied by TriHealth. They then expanded into the lower level, the basement of this building. and grew their operations phenomenally. And then several expansions into the basement. They occupied a full half of the basement under this building. Prior to that, they were acquired by a firm out of Salt Lake City, Myriad. So they now go under the Myriad brand, which deepened their exposure and their opportunity for growth. They remain in a high level of growth. The city is eager during this transition period as they look at their long-term headquarters on the eastern half of the U.S. To maintain that in Mason. What they need, though, in the short term, as they're looking at those long-term plans, is they need some additional expansion space. And the lower level of this building provides the best opportunity for that. So what is before you is we amended this lease about 2 years ago to provide some additional square feet, and we enjoy a lease revenue from that. What we especially enjoy is the earnings tax potential generated by the employees that they continue to locate and expand. But also significant is the reputation and the access it's given us to the biohealth industry, which Mason is developing, increasingly growing a hub here in Mason of those type of companies. You look at AtriCure, you look at Procter & Gamble, a lot of our success and where we see continued growth in the Mason economy is in biohealth. And Myriad has been a key part of that for the last 14 years. What is anticipated as far as the mechanics of this lease is that we would re-up the lease for another 5-year term, applying new lease rates to the entire square footage, 20,000 square feet in the lower level. We would take space that is currently occupied by the EOC and a workout facility for employees, repurpose that to Myriad's use. They would pay the cost of outfitting that. They'd make the investment into that, and then pay a lease on that additional space as they continue to grow, as they continue to make decisions towards their long-term location. This would set them up to fit that transition period, continue to occupy the space here, continue to generate an even more attractive lease revenue for the city. But more significantly, and where our sights are set, is using all of those opportunities to secure them. We have their attention and some of their commitment as they make those long-term decisions. It helps Mason to be a more attractive location for them to continue to mature and grow here. So what's before you with Ordinance 2024-114 is a new lease that expands under those terms for Myriad in the lower level of this building. Fortunately, the city has had, since we built Fire Station 51, a backup EOC. This would allow us to repurpose or to move some of the equipment that is here in this building to that EOC to occupy it in the interim. This is an attractive opportunity, obviously, for the city. It continues what has been just a phenomenal relationship with AssureX and now Myriad, and I think sets us up very well for a long-term home for another significant corporate partner. It is recommended for adoption.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth.
Yes.
Okay, next we're on to committee reports. If I can remind you just to name the council members on the committees as well, that would be great. Does anyone have a committee report?
Mayor,
Yes.
mine will be pretty brief because we talked a lot about it, but I'm on the Finance Committee with Vice Mayor Chance and Councilmember Gibson. Obviously, we met quite a bit to talk about the budget, which we heard way too much about from Mr. Hanson tonight, so appreciate that. Very thorough. Great. But no, we did. We had some great discussions, long meetings. They typically are. We do it a lot in the fall, but great discussions on, again, just kind of setting some parameters around the next year. And I think the big message was just kind of we had plenty of capital investments this year, lots of very exciting things going on that we'll reap the benefits of in the future. And so it's, how do we kind of pause, take a breath, and rebuild some of those funds up in the coming year. And one thing that I'll mention, if it's okay, in our packet that we saw, And it goes through because of kind of the conservative nature that we have and the fiscal responsibility that we've had through the budgeting process. And Mr. Riegelsberger deserves a lot of credit, Mr. Hansen to a lesser degree, that we have once again received the highest bond rating from Moody's Investor Services of AAA. So very exciting. It's like having a really great credit score if you're a family. And so it gives us better opportunities, lower interest rates, and just much, much better for the city and for the taxpayers. So we appreciate their work, and thank you. And let Mr. Riegelsberger know that we appreciate his work as well. Yes.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have a committee report?
I do.
Go ahead.
Before that, I would just like to say it was under Eric's leadership where we got the great balanced budget for next year. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so that, yeah.
So the Employee Relations Committee met, and Eric went over a lot of that detail earlier in his presentation. It's with Councilmember Stricula, Councilmember Space, and we will need to go to executive session at some point to discuss a compensation of a salaried employee.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Heckey?
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of committee reports. First, Veterans Affairs. We met last week. We have begun working on some plans to try to commemorate Vietnam veterans. In March, we will mark the 50th anniversary of the end of American involvement in Vietnam. So we would like to recognize our Vietnam veterans in an appropriate way and give them the welcome home that they did not get 50 years ago. So stay tuned. There's a lot of details to be ironed out with that, but we are working on that in the committee.
Okay, and who's in your committee?
I am so sorry, Mayor. You just told me that like 2 minutes ago,
Okay.
didn't you? That would be myself, Vice Mayor Chance, and Councilmember Stricula, as
Okay.
well as several community members. Mr. John Looker, Jerry Ferris, Chief Ron Farrell is also a part of our team, as well as some staff members. Maybe they're sitting up here on the dais with us this evening.
Okay, thank you.
And we also had a downtown committee meeting, if I could just move straight into that.
And who's on that committee?
I have no idea. No, it would be yourself, Mayor, the Vice Mayor, and myself. So this was quite a busy meeting. We had Sherry Taylor from the MAID CDC, which is the Mason Deerfield Community Development Corporation, in attendance. A couple of months ago, we finalized legislation to provide funding for the CDC to work on the downtown redevelopment, and they have gotten very busy working towards a lot of the goals that have been set forth. So Sherry talked to us about a lot of the progress that they've made, ongoing work with the Mason Mile, several new board members that they've introduced, as well as a new hire, Olivia, and I did not put her last name here, but she is their community outreach and community engagement, thank you, person who is handling a lot of stuff for them, and we've seen her work already taking place. They have I believe they have finalized, if they haven't, they will very, very soon, an RFP for the next phase of the Mason Mile plan. And this is to come up with the comprehensive master plan for the downtown redevelopment, which they expect to be done within about 6 to 9 months. She's also reported on efforts to work with staff, especially with our city manager, Mr. Hansen, regarding roles. This is a new dynamic for both sides. So when opportunities come to the city, how we handle those, who staffs what, and who is responsible for what needed to be detailed. So they worked very hard on that, and I believe they're pretty close, if not done, with their initial look at that. Let's see, there was also a lot of, there were reports on a lot of activities designed to draw community members into the downtown, the Mason Mile. We got updated on several, let's see, there was Light Up the Mile, 2 current activities, Light Up the Mile, which basically they handed out, I think they said about 40,000 lights to local businesses to put on the front of their buildings, so that we can enhance the holiday look of the downtown mile. There was also the Deck the Doors, which is a competition for the local businesses to decorate their doors for the holidays, and then have the community vote on who did the best job. And lastly, we had an update from Mr. Chris Heim and Kyra. I am so sorry. What is your last name? Yes. On some efforts that they have been involved in, as well as with Lisa Heim, with the Mason Market, the Market on the Mile, which has been a big success, as well as the Music on Main Street effort, which was also another big success. And reported on some results from some surveys for both of those events that they've gotten back from not only the community, but the vendors involved and the musicians, so that they can even take these up to make these even better events than they already were. So while you're sitting here in the in the audience, I want to thank you publicly for all of your work. You guys are doing all this on a volunteer basis, and the work that they have done is just amazing. So thank you very much, and thank you to everyone involved in all of that. So that's all I've got.
Okay, great update. Anyone else? Yes, Vice Mayor Chance.
Yeah, just to dovetail off of Councilmember Hackey, we got to celebrate or participate in a partnership with Wreath Across America this past weekend. There's 1,754 veterans inside Rose Hill Cemetery, and I would just like to extend a thank you to Post 194, the American Legion, Dave Charpentier and his team. The one thing that really stuck out to me was, in remembrance of these folks that obviously fought for this country and just the freedoms that it has provided for us, and it was just a great way to remember them during this holiday season. And it was overwhelming. I think there was close to 300 volunteers. They came out to, if you guys pass the cemetery, obviously it's a pretty large cemetery, and we were able to put a wreath on every one of those tombstones, and it was just really cool. I got to get my kids out there, and there was a lot of kids, a lot of high school kids. I think it's very important generationally that, we don't forget about that. So I just look forward, and I would encourage the city to continue to participate and partner with Deerfield Township on that effort, because I think it was probably one of the cooler things I've been able to be involved with here in the city. So kudos to city staff and everything that we did. I know we bellied up and made sure that every one of those veterans had a wreath on there. So that was very cool to be a part of. So thank you for doing that.
All right, thank you. Any more committee reports?
Mayor, if I could just underscore the Vice Mayor's comments. That was a very opportunity to really partner with Deerfield Township, and something that they operate the cemetery. We're neighbors to the cemetery. It's shared in the community. They were very gracious in inviting us in, and I think we did a great job together. I do think there's momentum to continue that into the future, so that may become an annual occurrence.
It was a good event. They had 1,750 wreaths that we had to place. It was really nice. Great turnout. Oh, 1,754. Thanks. All right, so you have a committee report?
Yes, Mayor. Okay, on November 13th, our Rules Committee, which is comprised of council members Gibson and Bennett, and we had requested to have a work session with all of council, and so we did meet, as I said, on November 13th, and we were talking about the draft of the proposed property maintenance code that Jeff and also his attorney in his office came up with, Kathy Ryan. After we had quite a bit of discussion about it, there were some proposed changes made to it. Also, a lot of discussion about whether or not it was government overreach, whether or not we had support of the majority of council. And so we had requested that the changes be made on the draft and we get a red line copy of that. And then also there was some discussion about, currently we have different parts of our code that address property maintenance concerns, but they're kind of all over in different places. And so there was some discussion as well about trying to consolidate all that into a property maintenance code so that it's clear where the current things that are in force, what we do have in place. So I really want to try to keep this moving. I feel like we've got a little bit more work now to do, and I'm going to request that Eric get our Rules Committee back together because I have some ideas about maybe how we can try to get this moving forward. At this point, I don't feel like if we voted on the current draft that we discussed, that it would pass. And I don't feel like we would have a property maintenance code. And I do think it's very important that our community get a property maintenance code put into place. So Eric, as soon as the holidays are over, let's get a Rules Committee, and then our committee can figure out where we're going to go to try to keep this moving forward and working with council again. So we'll figure out what will be the next steps after that. I also wanted to just mention, we did not have a safety committee meeting, but I wanted to just mention this because it was in our information in the interim packet that we received about, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And council members Gibson and Strickler are also on that committee. But I wanted to point this out because I think we need to give a big high five or congratulations to our fire department. The Insurance Services Office, which they refer to as the ISO, developed a numerical grading called a Public Protection Classification, which they call the PPC. A rating of 1 is the highest and a rating of 10 is the lowest. The rating only evaluates the level of fire protection available and does not evaluate emergency medical services or technical rescue capabilities. The ISO updates a community's PPC rating every 7 to 10 years. So in 1998, Mason's first rating was a 5, and remembering that 1 is the best, 10 is the worst. In 2003, the rating improved to a 4, and in 2012, the rating improved to a 3. And after a recent site visit by the ISO, we were given the information that Mason is now rated a 2. And I think we can be very proud of that. Out of the 38,000 communities throughout the U.S. that are rated by the ISO, the city is now in the top 2,500 with the new rating. So again, I think it's really great. We have such a wonderful fire department. We already know that, but this is just even more proof of that. So I just wanted to make sure we all paid attention to that. Okay. And thank you to the chief and all the fire department employees.
Okay, that is good. All right, does anyone else have a committee report? All right, it is time for old and new business. And I just wanted to take a moment, if my voice, because I'm kind of losing my voice tonight, but to talk about the Mason 2024 year in review, some of our top accomplishments. So if you want to sit back and grab some popcorn, this might take a minute. We've had a lot of accomplishments in 2024. Of course, the city of Mason is ranked the 5th best place to live by Fortune, and I love to say that because it is such a great thing for our city. Of course, the purchase of the Tennis for Charity property was finalized on December 2nd, like Eric had said. The city now owns the Linden Center Tennis Center and surrounding property. We also reviewed, approved, and inspected Phase 1 and Phase 2 improvements of the Tennis Center, which is approximately $260 million in investment. In 2024, it is the largest single investment and job creation year on record, which is huge. The largest single investment and job creation on record, with over $560 million in new capital, real estate, and over 1,700 jobs since January, totaling 12 projects within the city's targeted industry sectors of advanced manufacturing, bio-life science, aerospace, automotive, and light industrial. We attracted the second expansion of Procter & Gamble with the relocation of the headquarter operations for the Global Baby, Feminine, and Family Care, with over 500,000 square feet, $400 million in new investment, and approximately 1,000 jobs. This investment more than doubles the size of the facility and is the largest R&D center within the largest concentration of science and technical talent in the world. We secured Hag Strait North America corporate headquarters in Mason and expanded company operations with the consolidation and retrofit project, with the retention and creation of jobs totaling $130 and $5 million in new investment. The city's unique approach to real estate acquisition is one of the Hag Strait facilities as part of the economic incentive offering was a key component to the long-term decision made by Switzerland. Cintas expanded their global headquarters with Fortune 500 company, plan to secure and grow executive and leadership level operations, $15 million in new investment and $12.5 million in new payroll. We announced the second expansion of the Vega North America corporate headquarters since opening in 2022, doubling the footage of the production, adding 120,000 square feet with $16 million in new investment and 30 new manufacturing jobs. We attracted the fourth expansion of ICRC Global Corporate Headquarters, which is one of the largest announcements in the region and the state for 2024. The project invests $45 million in new investment, 120 square foot campus expansion, 300 new jobs, and $55 million in new payroll. We announced 6 Digma, a 30,000 square foot aerospace industry global corporate headquarters in Mason R&D Park, with the sale of 3 acres, attracted $12 million in new investments, 39 new jobs, and $3.5 million in new payroll. We have a new company, RH Aero Systems Global Corporate Headquarters, which was formed in Mason with the Rheinstahl major acquisition of global company Hydro Systems KG. And that secures a long-term plan for the new future expansion of the company campus in the Mason R&D Park. And the Mason R&D Park is off of 741. It's north on 741. Mira Precision Labs expansion, tripling the lab size since, they were in the Mason Tech elevator. In 2022, they had 200 square feet and scaled to today's 10,000 square foot facility. The project invests $2 million and adds 30 jobs. We negotiated a strategic acquisition of 3 properties totaling 73 acres, securing key long-term economic development opportunities for job growth and targeted industry investment. We created a small business committee of council to help attract and maintain small businesses in the community. From there, we created the Small Business Community Impact Award as an effort to highlight a small business in Mason that is giving back to the community and improving the overall quality of life here in Mason. The city signed a 2-year contribution commitment to the Warren County Small Business Development Center to expand resources available to Mason small businesses. We need to give accolades to our finance department for this one, which what Josh had just talked about. We received the Certification of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the city's comprehensive annual financial report, and the city maintained a general obligations bond rating at AAA from Moody's Investors Service. This is the highest ranking available for long-term bonds. Mason was first rated by Moody's in 1998 with an AA3 rating, and it was upgraded in 2007 and again in 2009. In 2010, it was upgraded to the top AAA rating and has continued to maintain that rating. This is the 14th year. That just shows that we have an exceptional staff who pay attention to our finances. This year, council showed its commitment to the redevelopment of our downtown mile. The City of Mason signed a $3.5 million investment agreement with the Mason Deerfield CDC to advance our downtown Mason mile, marking a step towards its revitalization. This summer was the first year that the city partnered with the CDC's volunteers to host a very successful Market on the Mile in downtown Mason. Former Mason Manoray Carson Foster joined the Team USA in the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, earning bronze medal in the 401 meter and a silver medal in the 4x200 meters freestyle relay. With 8 former and 2 current Mason manta rays that competed in the 2024 Olympic swimming trials. Mason Manta Ray achieved the gold medal status with the USA Swimming. This is the 6th time that the team has been awarded the gold medal status. The city will also receive an $8,000 grant as part of these awards. The team has won the silver medal award 11 times. There were 2 current Mason Manta Rays that represented Mason in the 2024 Pan-Pacific Championship in Australia. We completed and opened the adaptive ball fields at McKeno Park, which contributed to the most successful Challenger League season ever. McKeno Park was recognized as a first-place award winner for capital projects from the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association. The community center relaunched their gymnastics program, which excited many. They created the team CMG, City of Mason Gymnastics. It's a recreational competitive team under the Excel program through the USA Olympics. The Service Center staff provided 7-day-a-week coverage throughout the year, improving services for our community. The tennis and basketball courts were repainted at Heritage Oak Park, creating basketball, tennis, and 8 new pickleball courts. We formalized an agreement with the Mason Arts Council for a future development of the Performing Arts Center. We continued investing and advancing in the arts in Mason by partnering with the Mason Symphony Orchestra to host 3 indoor concerts and a free outdoor concert for the community. As far as infrastructure goes, we widened the last section of State Route 741 to 5 lanes from Cox Smith to Spyglass Hill, including the storm sewer, retaining wall, sidewalk, and shared use path. Total improvements completed to State Route 741 over the last 5+ years is approximately $30 million. It is the city's 2nd largest roadway project after the I-75 interchange. We extended the Veterans Parkway from Freedom Way to Mason Montgomery, added a turn lane at the intersection of Mason Montgomery Road and Veterans Way. The construction included the addition of landscaping of tree lawns and medians, installation of an irrigation system, curb and gutters, sidewalks, storm sewer, and streetlights as part of the location for the Dorothy Lane Market in Mason. We widened Mason Montgomery Road from Enterprise Drive to Concord Crossing Drive, providing dedicated turn lanes for multiple businesses, including the Mason Schools bus garage. This project also included a new sidewalk that connects downtown to the Terrace Drive. We completed the expansion of Central Park Boulevard from Financial Way to Western Row Road with construction of approximately 1,300 feet of new roadway. This project included a curb and gutter, storm sewer, sidewalk, street lighting, and street trees. We constructed 10-foot wide shared use path connection along the east side of Kings Island Drive from Great Wolf Drive to Wilson Avenue, and this connection completes the remaining missing section of the path along Kings Island Drive. Some miscellaneous achievements that we've done, of course, we've talked about this before, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Josh Creech obtained his Ohio EPA license for wastewater treatment operator certificate, and there are relatively few Class 4 certifications in the state of Ohio. So it was a lot of hard work, and he deserves a lot of credit. So if you see him, please make sure to congratulate him. He makes Mason look good in the wastewater treatment plant. We moved the use of the beet heat liquid for snow and ice control to reduce salt consumption and increase salt effectiveness. There's less corrosion. It's a less corrosive alternative extension for useful life of our equipment, and it's an overall cost savings. We presented to over 1,000 third-grade students, helping them learn more about local government operations. Council passed a resolution to support moving fire department response times closer to the national standard and adopting strategic plan and community risk assessments. We installed the city's first EU charging station in public parking for downtown. We added AED on the downtown plaza, completed a multiple-year conversion of all city street lights to LED. So we did a lot. Council did a lot, staff did a lot, everybody did a lot. So we have a lot to be proud of because this is quite a list, and this isn't even all of it. I just figured, you cut off my microphone at some point, or I'll be put in the category with Eric with talking too much.
Mayor, I was just going to mention, interesting side note, maybe Josh Creech, you mentioned. He was the Instant Commander for Heritage Festival and will be the Instant Commander next year for Red Rhythm Boom. So you do well,
Great.
get your Class 4 in wastewater. You get to run a music event. So.
There you go. Okay, we have some housekeeping to do as well. I need a motion to appoint Chris Calpin to the Planning Commission. Calpin. Do I have a motion to do that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? He will be taking the seat of Don Prince. I need a motion to appoint Sean Mason to Zoning Board of Appeals, filling the empty seat that Chris Calpin has left vacant due to moving to Planning Commission.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. And I was wondering, Councilmember Gibson, if you could talk a little bit about the Community Holiday Help Program.
I would be glad to, Mayor. This is a program that several non-for-profits came together this year to help out students that have been identified in the Mason City schools of underprivileged and needing extra help. And so we have been feeding them throughout the year. And so come Christmas time, it was a great opportunity for us to come together as a community. And so there's a lot of different groups that came together to do this. And in a short amount of time, I think we were handed this in the end of September. And the City of Mason was a great partner in this to raise both funds and both different donations via, we had a Amazon Prime account kind of set up for people that they could order from and send to us. And those all went through the Mason City schools where we collected that. And we just had a great time last Friday and Saturday to be able to give back to this community. And all the organizations that were involved were from this community. So it was a great example of the community giving back to the community. And you guys at all should be very, very proud of what the city did in partnership with many other organizations here in the city of Mason. So it was a very, very proud Mason moment.
It was indeed. It was, the goal was to create a magical holiday for over 800 students within our community or children, I should say, within our community. And the goal was to provide them with something to wear, something to read, something they want, and something they need. So hopefully they all have a magical holiday, because it was amazing walking into that room and seeing how much stuff was donated. And I know Councilmember Spaeth, you were there as well. I don't know if you want to add to it.
I was able to come that afternoon to help set up, and I also was just amazed at the amount of items that there were. I know some people donated, like you said, through Amazon, but there was also a lot of people that donated financially, and you guys were able to go shopping and get everything. I just can't say enough for the Girl Scout troop with the Comets Cupboard and all the work, Casey Moran and her husband, all the work that they do really throughout the year. Helping children in our community, in our schools. There's a Comets Cupboard at every school, which provides for kids who have food insecurity, but also provides clothing and just things like spirit wear that we don't think about. Some children are not able to afford those kinds of things. And this was all partner. I know you talked about that, but there was a lot of partners involved that made it all happen, and I just can't imagine how much bigger it's going to be next year. It was really great. It was really awesome. I was just so impressed. Thank you all that coordinated all that.
I think they still have, hopefully, the link on the website to PayPal if you want to do any cash donations still. Just go to imaginemason.org, and you can find the link for that. Okay, does anyone else have old or new business?
I just have something real quick that I want to mention, because I get a lot of people ask me about this all the time. I think it was in the interim packet, we got construction updates, both projects that were already completed and projects to be completed. I get asked a lot about the railroad crossing on Snyder Road and the one that's also on Western Railroad. And I just want to mention this because that was in part of the future projects. The replacement of both the Western Railroad Railway crossing and the Snyder Road Railway crossing, the construction is supposedly going to begin, I guess, in 2025 or 2026, hopefully. But I want a lot of people to understand is that the city of Mason is not responsible for doing that construction when the railroad needs to be fixed. That is the Ohio Rail Development Commission and the Genesee and Wyoming Railway that are fully responsible. And I know there's been times in the past when we don't always know when they're going to step up and do those repairs, and sometimes the city of Mason has to do some temporary repairs. I know there gets to be a lot of potholes around that area, especially on Snyder Road. So I guess please continue to call those in until this is all fixed. But if you go to projectmason.com, that is a website that will tell you about all the current construction projects and all the ones that have been completed, and that'll give you an update with everything going on. So I hope everyone will listen and quit asking me about it. So.
Okay. Yes, Councilmember Bennett.
I just have a brief update on the neighborhood program that I've been working on for the last year. So we have identified a core group of volunteers who are really interested in bringing this into being. So we met just a few weeks ago and clarified our mission and vision for this program and a name. So we're calling it Mason for Mason. And our mission is to strengthen the community by helping people meet people and come together to help each other in the city. We've identified a couple of projects that we would like to work on in this next calendar year. I'm not going to talk about them just yet because I need to kind of see what the feasibility is. One's quite large, but also already budgeted, and the other one is more like a one-time event. So we will be meeting again in January to talk more about these specific things. I'll give them an update, and then we'll see, where we go from there.
Okay, great. And this is based off of the 17 Strong program, correct?
That is one city program that I have looked at closely to model after. Hamilton has identified 17 neighborhoods in their community using some very specific criteria. They don't necessarily apply here. And so one of the things we've been talking about is how do we define our community and what are the things that we uniquely need in Mason? Because so many people move here from all over the world, there's a lot of interest in newer people finding ways to meet one another. Those of us who've lived here for a while, we tend to be in our circles, and we have our friends and we have our routines, and if you're trying to meet people, it's not immediately obvious how or where. So we recognize that that's potentially a role that we could play of facilitating meetings and relationships. Not necessarily creating them, but helping people to find out what's already there. And we are looking at possibly identifying neighborhoods, but we felt like we wanted to try a couple of smaller things first and just see how it goes.
Okay, well, great. Well, yeah, it is a great program, and I know you've been working on this, so I'll be excited to get some more information. So good job on that. Thank you. All right, anyone else?
I would just like to say, have a very Merry Christmas and holiday season. This is, we had a really fun time with the kiddos this morning inviting Santa, so that's, 'tis a season for that. And so just enjoy the family, your friends, and the gatherings of whatever you might be doing, and it should be a fun, light season, so just enjoy.
Okay. And a safe one, too. All right, anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on to recognition of visitors. Is there anyone who would like to come to the podium? Okay. All right, I need a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing acquisition, disposition of property, and employment compensation of public employees.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Before we leave, I know some of the students wanted, are we going to?
Yeah, so this is a good time for us to if you guys want to.
Yeah, I don't want you guys to have to wait on us.
Yeah, no, this is the time for you guys to come and ask us all your questions for your project. Do you have specific council members you want to ask questions to, or just any council member? Any? Okay. Well, why don't you pick a council member, and I'll answer your questions, so you don't have to wait around till after executive session. Okay, I need a motion to reconvene into regular session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? So I need, so we don't have, do we need like a number for it or anything? So we are going to be adding a bonus to the city manager's pay of an extra $2,000. So I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
That's going to be an
Oh, I know.